All right, so I'm covering keyword research. Let me get my screen set up. Share. Okay, I think it's easy to see. Awesome. Everything, I hope it's viewable. Let me look at, okay, cool. Let me get this up. Okie dokie, guys. Well, basically, I'm doing keyword research from a, this will be using sort of small business, middle size for non-local, although this applies to just about everything. It works for, I've done it for e-commerce. There's one extra step I do for e-commerce though, but I'll break that down as we go on. The process takes, it's been taking me about 6 to 12 hours, depending on the sheer volume of products or size of the site, all the things you do. It's worth it though. So this is a lot to dive into. And I did a lot of this before I ran into Nick Eubanks's blog. He was actually speaking around like 3 o'clock or something, but he helped sort of provide some insight on the tools that he used, and that's really influenced this and made this go so much better. So shout out to Nick for putting that out there for free. Used to be, I think he charged like $100 or something for it. Anyway. So keyword research is generally the same for most people. I'd say a lot of the people that I run into, I participate in SEO groups a lot. They sort of just have a general idea. They run it through some auto suggestion tools, and from there, that's about it. They look up search volume. A lot of people just rely on search volume. That or keyword difficulty. Those are the two things that people really stress, and I don't think you shouldn't just be relying on those two things. So let's see. Oftentimes, okay, that's where we're at. If you're really getting into keyword research, you'll look at difficulty, volume, plus clickstream data. That tells you how many clicks go to organic results, and then you'll generate your list. This typical strategy fails to properly evaluate all the data points that a good keyword researcher needs to sift through. So step one, I don't think people do this well enough, is who is your audience? Despite the fact that, marketing bloggers like Patel or Dean or anything off of HubSpot, whatever they say from their skyscrapers, everyone says know thy audience, yet people still half-ass their attempts at knowing the audience. The typical application of the advice is, well, I sell dog food, my client owns dogs, therefore my audience is dog owner. And you're doing yourself a disservice if that's as far as you go into knowing your audience. To truly know your audience, I think it involves a little bit of branding and positioning knowledge. And I actually, I'll give a shout out to my friend Marty Marion. He's absolutely amazing on this, and he's helped me inadvertently with my keyword research by helping me define this sort of positioning, branding idea and in integrating that into my keyword research. So do you sell, what kind of dog food are you selling? What, is it cheap? Is it expensive? That'll indicate a lot of the keyword modifier terms. If you're selling value brand dog food, for instance, you're not going to be doing those sort of niche terms that you'd expect from, Blue Buffalo, for instance. They're going to be going after a different set of modifiers. So some things you're going to want to look at: what's the typical gender, typical age, economic status. These things work for PPC. It's the same for organic. What's their education level? What kind of person do you think that you're trying to appeal to in general? Is your current voice on your site and through all of your content, is it actually appealing to the audience that you want to be appealing to? And that goes into more of a content evaluation. And what's most important to your buyer. So with keyword research, you want to know all this stuff because as much as it might not influence just the actual keywords you're going to be bringing in, it's definitely going to influence how you sort of shape your content. So, and ultimately how you convert. Getting traffic is meaningless. And I always laugh when I see pointless diagrams from SEOs that say how much traffic they got. They don't even show the keyword, right? I could get traffic for, name a stupid keyword that has high volume. I could probably get it, show a little graph, and boom, look, I'm a successful SEO. It's not how it works. You need to really evaluate your business's goals when you're doing these keywords. I don't care if I only bring in 50, a chart that says 50, I brought in 50 visits that month, combine that with 50% conversions, that's way more impressive to me. And it should be more impressive to other SEOs as well. So all these questions, typical that people forget to ask it, at least if you're first starting out. You just get so caught up in the search volume. All the different tools are really fun. Search volume is nice. Keyword difficulty, it's just so simple. But if you can identify the smallest viable audience and appeal to that group, you'll create diehard fans. And ultimately, that's what you're going to want to do anyway with e-commerce, especially. You want repeat buyers. And this isn't Keyword Research 101, it's Business 101. When I wrote the Why Raven page for Raven Tools, this is why I start with, if you try to sell to everyone, you wind up selling to no one, because it's true. Seth Godin was the one who sort of taught me that one. So in keyword research in general, the goal is to gain conversions. Brings me to number 2. I believe there's 10 steps, by the way. So step 2 is define your goals and think of the ever popular buyer's journey diagram. Let's see here. Let me make sure everyone can see. Yeah, I can still see it on here. Good. Buyer's journey. This sort of idea applies to keyword research: awareness, interest, consideration, purchase. That's sort of your funnel that you're going to want to be creating. So as you're doing keyword research, instead of just grabbing, a full list of keywords, you're going to want to put them into these buckets. So we need to really figure out these steps, and I'll explain that a little bit more later. But awareness, interest, purchase, or I can't edit that. Awareness, interest, purchase, transaction, one of those. So Nick Eubanks, like I said, he and a lot of others actually frame it a little bit differently in his approach, and it's commercial, informational, and transactional. So awareness equals informational, interest, commercial, purchase equals transactional. That's the SEO-atized version of the buyer's journey. I promise that's a word. When you do your keyword research, make sure you bucket these out, and I'll get into them. So the tools we're going to need for this exercise is Ahrefs, or Ahrefs, or Ahrefs, however you want to pronounce it. Semantic IO, that's one I prefer. You can just kind of run it in the background. That one is free. It's the only one that's free. SpyFu, that's $39 for that package. KeywordTool.io is another one that's optional. You can get by with just these 3, not use Keyword Tool. SERPbook, this is a suggested package I use for that one because you're going to need to track rankings as well. So I really like them. And Term Explorer, this is the real meat and potato one. I'll get into this. So it's kind of expensive. Since I work for Raven Tools, I'm obviously I'm getting a lot more tools, and I have a huge budget for tools. I can spend a lot. So I'd spend $450 a month on just keyword tools. And it's also good to stay up on your competitors. But anyway, so the bare minimum tool cost, $200 a month. And you don't have to stay on it for the entire time. You can run, if you have a couple clients, just run it one off. If they're with you for 6 months or a year, you can really get your entire year or 6 months journey of keywords just with this, off the bat. So it's not too expensive. It's just an initial investment. So step 3 is identify root keywords to use in your SEO tools. And this one you can do through a variety of ways. Honestly, it should be pretty easy though. For Raven Tools, should be pretty intuitive. Root keywords are backlinks, rank tracking, SEO tool, website audits, marketing reports, all that good stuff. Some good old-fashioned Googling kicks that off. And when I Google each of these, I should identify the websites that are currently in the SERP, and I should evaluate what kind of pages are ranking as well. Is it a blog or a landing page? Is it educational in some way? Is it strictly sales copy? Quick manual evaluation should tell you if your root keyword is appropriate or not. So as you're identifying these root keywords, just make sure they're the correct ones. Basically, I'm going to pick a word that I believe I should target. If I run into something that's too hard, or like where it's just inundated with Wikipedia type stuff, I'm just not going to approach it. I guess an example I have to approach this one, but SEO would be an example for me. The only ones that just ranking for SEO, it's like the hardest freaking keyword. But we work in it. Is it really worth my effort? Probably not. The buying intent really isn't there. It's just a short tail keyword, but that's one where I wouldn't necessarily want to focus on. So let's see here. Once you identify a solid URL that looks like it should be good for research purposes, hop on over to Keyword Planner, get keyword ideas. So enter the URL. I found one. It was Moz Beginner's Guide to SEO. That just had a lot of keywords in it, so I wanted it. Put it in there. Ranks #1 for SEO. Kicked off the world of informational SEO posts, thanks to Rand Fishkin. So pulled that up, generated 809 keyword ideas. Download those ideas. Find another URL. Download more ideas to the same sheet. Select append to current sheet. My 2 URLs had about 800 keywords in both pages. I'm at 1,600 keywords. So off to a good start. Step 4, I should also take a peek at my current rankings. If I have a new site, people who may be evaluating an affiliate marketing opportunity, for instance, will have a new site. Don't use this, obviously, but go to Ahrefs, plug in your site into Site Explorer, go to the top pages, the one with the fire symbol next to it. You'll export the list, filter the keywords to leave out branded terms, filter based on search volume amount, and filter based on current positioning. And you'll get a sheet that looks like this one. And actually, cool enough, Raven Tools will be getting something like this soon, which I'm excited for. Sometime, I think by summer. Hopefully it works properly too. New tools, as Garrett was saying with Ahrefs, with their internal link tools, kind of buggy, but I'm still excited nonetheless. So in general, I put things into 3 buckets. The lowest hanging fruit is the keyword in position 2 to 3. As everyone here knows, you get a huge jump in traffic just by going up 1 position when you're in the top 2 or 3rd position. The difference is massive. So I want to see if I can do anything just to nudge that. Maybe I'm missing something small. Maybe I forgot a very easy thing. Bucket 2 is low-hanging fruit, not the lowest. Then 3, ripe fruit. The keywords in position 11 through 20 will be the ripe fruit. I'm in page 2, which is basically you're not even on the SERP, which sucks, especially for mobile now. These specific keywords will have their own sheet called keyword opportunity. And so just to recap, keyword opportunity and those buckets will be only for the things that you currently rank for. One tiny formula. Let's see here. If you have your list of keywords that you currently rank for, make sure to filter out the brand name, place it in the same list of keywords from the competitor analysis from Keyword Planner. So remember, we have 1,600 keywords now, plus however many you're ranking for. I think we were ranking for 400 keywords for Raven. So now I'm about 2,000. One tiny formula equals unique. Select the cells. It will filter out all doubles. So now I won't have nowhere near 2,000. I can't remember, I dropped it down a bit, but this is what it looks like. You'll create a new little cell block, unique keywords, bam. Step 5, and you'll keep on doing this unique thing. The more you want to just grab all the data you can. Let's see here. Making sure everyone's still here, good. If anyone has questions, by the way, I'm not looking at the feed, so Garrett or Steve or somebody interrupt me. Go down. Step 5. Multiple tools can be used for this, but since money isn't really concerned for this demonstration, I use SpyFu. I just love the tool. And we're going to use some PPC information to inform our SEO research. So let's see here. Oh, yeah. And as a note, keyword research for SEO involves an understanding of PPC keywords as well. And not only can PPC keywords influence your organic campaign, but after you've finished with all your organic research, you'll also have some keywords that you'll be able to identify as candidates for PPC instead of organic. So for instance, we're going to get some data on the cost per click, and we're going to be identifying high value, high priority, easy keywords to target. And if it's a low bid, after you do all this research, you have an entire list now of just keywords that you can be giving to the PPC team. So this is what it looks like. SpyFu. That's your little thing right here. Find your competitors' most profitable AdWords. SEMrush does this as well. So click PPC Keywords, off to the races. You have this list right here. I've entered my, Moz for this example, 6,000 keywords. Export all, you're good to go. So that's another 6,000 on top of the 2,000. We're about 8,500 keywords now, provided we're going to be filtering these two. So add 3 to 4 competitors who specialize in the same thing I offer. If I specialize in a broad range of SEO tools, then my personal preference is get data from the ones that just specialize in those like very niche things. Just a backlink tool, find that one. They tend to create content that is far more expansive on that topic than another place like Raven does, since we are sort of like this hub for a bunch of different things. So get that. Find that if, let's see, get through a list. Okay. So in this particular example, I now have a list of 5,500 keywords, and I haven't even used the keyword suggestion tool yet. So keep filtering out these keywords as a note with that unique function. I've already filtered out 2,000 so far in this demonstration. Also, it's important to keep search volume on every keyword if at all possible, as you'll want to filter out anything that has no volume. If you use a keyword suggestion tool, you'll need to run the keywords through a search volume tool. So what I mean by that is a lot of these suggestion tools will just give you keywords, no volume. So you can use this, it's free, or you can use SERPbook. I just use SERPbook. I get a little lazy. I'd rather not scrape or go through 5,000 keywords if I don't need to. If I have 1,000 of them with no volume, I'll just get rid of them. Here's the package I use: 2,000 keywords tracked. It does it automatically. You can export the 2,000 after it's been given, delete them all, and you have that list still. And you can keep doing that over and over and over. So obviously, if money's no option, just get enterprise. You're good. Let's see here. Having the capability. Okay. Step 6. Keyword suggestion tools can now be used to expand upon some of your core keywords. Keep in mind, you should only be doing this if you have access to a tool that provides search volumes. Otherwise, you'll be filtering through trash for ages. So I've tried, I believe it's Infinity Suggest or Infinite Suggest, Uber Suggest, Keyword Tool, and Semantic. Winner for me is Semantic. Really like it. You just put it in here, and it just runs in the background. You can have positive and negative filters, and it's totally free. So I dig that. There's the URL there. Blah, blah, blah. And what kind of sucks is with this tool, basically it's overkill. I'm going to be deleting the majority of them, but it does make sure I identify some keywords that I might otherwise be missing. Let's see. Back to, okay, so once you've gotten these keywords from Semantic, plug them into SERPbook to get the data. Get traffic data from SERPbook, and that's one of the things I like about that keyword tracker. Filter data by traffic, remove the obvious keywords that don't have volume. And now comes the terrible, mind-numbing part for keyword research, which is review the keyword list and delete the ones you don't need. So sometimes just some trash gets through, delete them. And you're going to need to do that manually. So I suggest you do it by placing a big ol' N on a keyword column. You can also do this through just doing yes. At this point, I think most of the data that I have is all yes, other than the keyword suggestion tool. So based on how you want to order this, it'll change. But I put a big N on a new column next to the keyword column, and you'll eventually filter out all the keywords that have N next to it. So, yes or no. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go for Google, AOL.com. Google searches in Google. I don't really care. Yeah, it has 1,220,000 searches. Big whoop. And strangely, I don't know what this is. I'm ranking number 13 with Google, AOL.com. Don't know why. So a lot of these are trash. No. After you finish this step, doing step 7 with beer in hand, move on to the next tool. So next one, step 8, Term Explorer. You're going to bulk analyze your keywords. This tool is pretty neat. Here's what it looks like once you're actually in the job. For Term Explorer, I suggest you just try it out. It's 99 bucks. When you go to it, start bulk job. They have a demo you can look at. Start new job, enter the name, enter your keywords. You can copy and paste however many you want. You have sparsely related for the job type, moderately related, and you also have very related. And I get 1,000 different jobs I can run. So this is going to give you some keyword suggestions too, based on this job type. Start the job. Bam. So this one had 2,000 entries. I ended up redoing this again, expanding it from, I think I did very related at first, switched it to moderately related and had 90,000 or 97,000 entries. So, and then I ended up filtering from there. Wonder if I can actually see. Within the actual tool itself, you're also allowed to filter based on your, the volume, local search volume. You can filter it through whatever. And I kind of like, that's one of the reasons why I like this tool. The bottom of this page right here, you'll be able to filter it all, however you want to filter it. You can apply negative keywords, positive keywords, volume searches, all that good stuff. So once you select your keywords, all of these, and I know this is kind of crazy now that you've, all those keywords that you have identified and you put in here, so I had thousands, put them in here, it gave me even more, 97,000 is what I ended up having. You can't analyze all of them. It won't let you analyze all of them. So you have a lot of digging to do. So make sure it trashes anything with no volume, anything that you'll get things like SEO Houston. So especially as a SaaS SEO company, I'm going to get all sorts of like SEO Shanghai, SEO Dallas, SEO San Francisco. I got to filter all that junk out. Kind of sucks, but you get used to it. So the keyword analyzer, once you have all that done, I ended up having a total entry of 1,400, I believe, out of the 97,000. So much less. So the keyword analyzer, it takes about an hour probably to get through all that. What it'll do is it looks like this. All that data now. So here's a client. Liberal arts colleges. Average monthly searches, 5,400. Average CPC, 13.3. Difficulty score, this is on a 1 to 10 basis. Your relevancy, so relevancy means based on the keywords that you put in there. Link strength, this will be out of 10. Sort of like the page authority. And trust, which is a, what is that? Majestic. Majestic metric. And Raven Tools has that metric in our platform. So export this list. You'll now have a complete list of keywords that list the top, also list the top 10 URLs that are ranking for each of these as well. And that's super nice. And I'll get into why later. So you'll have keyword, monthly volume, CPC, URLs, keyword and title, URLs do they contain keywords? Do the headings contain keywords? The number of keywords, page word count, number of outbound links, relevancy score, Ahrefs page backlinks, Ahrefs domain backlinks, domain age, EMD, exact match domain for those who don't know, the Majestic Trust Score, link strength, and difficulty score. SEO Dream. I love this tool, and I owe Nick a ton for this. Thank you for showing this tool via your blog. This changes the game. I have not found another tool. If someone has one, let me know. The one thing I will say that you guys need to make sure you're aware of is this tool, Term Explorer, gets kind of finicky. Especially when you're applying massive filters, but it'll also just be weird. Sometimes it'll generate 2,000 keywords. Sometimes it generates 90,000 for the same settings. So you just got to make sure it's processing the job correctly. So now on to the fun part. Add a column for intent. And this part, I'm not an expert on yet because you can automate this. You can use a macro. So I plan on just going to Fiverr and getting someone to build like a Google Sheet macro for this. But so this is when we apply the buyer's journey into the keyword data. We're basically getting the 3 buckets: information, commercial, transaction. For an SEO tool set, much of the information will be informational, And that's what I mainly focus on at the Raven Tools blog anyway, is informational stuff, which isn't bad. A lot of times showing up for informational queries offers more branding value on top of the value of just building out that funnel. So being visible in the SERPs in general is just handy. It's just nice having our name thrown out there. It's easier when people see your name all the time to convert them later. So let's see here. An example of an informational query, for instance, would be how to use a backlink tool. Transactional would be something along the lines of discounted backlink checker. But honestly, for SaaS, it's really hard to get that. This will be much more related to e-com, finding transactional words. It's really hard to find a transactional word for SEO. For an SEO company that sells the tools. If you are an agency, it's a little bit easier because people are actually shopping for a service still. Like I said before, volume doesn't always matter. If the conversion rate for the term is high, you'll still need a minimum viable amount of searches. If your keyword research tool shows 0 volume, but the term seems juicy, hop on over to some forums, see if people talk about it in the forums. So there's tons of different forums. I use Quora. In Quora, if they're used there, screw the tool data, you should still build a page around the keyword because people are searching for it. And if it's transactional and it definitely reeks of intent to actually buy something, use it. Test it out, see if it works. Shouldn't take too much effort on your part. You can pay someone anywhere between, well, it depends on the level of content you're doing. You can pay someone anywhere. The best I've had for the cheapest is 4 cents a word. Best I've had for actually paying for it goes all the way to 60 cents a word. So the range is massive. 60 cents a word is so expensive, it hurts. That hurts. I rarely try to do that. Okay, so let's see. And I don't need content writers approaching me, offering me like deals. I have my content now. If keywords are used in forums, screw the tool data. Okay, so here's a neat little thing to look at. Number of keywords, competition versus conversion. This just sort of visualizes it for you. Low competition, low conversion, high competitive. It's just short tail, long tail. So incorporating this. Informational keywords, who, what, when, where, why. Short tail keywords in general. So keyword research, website audit, blue pants, gift ideas. Those are all informational keywords. They're not commercial necessarily. You're just looking for some sort of information. And other people talk about another bucket. They'll add navigational. But for this purpose, I filtered out all the branded terms. But navigational is generally branded. So especially with informational, once I have piqued someone's attention, they know who I am, they're going to potentially fall now into a navigational search. Let's see. And you'll see that when you go to, what is it? Ahrefs, for instance. 2 years ago, look at how many people searched for that branded query. Nowhere near what they have now. And a lot of it is due to just their informational stuff. Also, they've developed their tool really well, but some of their content is really dang good. It's been shared a lot. They do PPC with it as well. People end up searching for them more, looking for that kind of content. You know, Ahrefs blog, Ahrefs on long tail, short tail, that kind of thing. So that'll be the navigational. Commercial keywords, cheap, colors of any kind, sizes, women's, men's, children, sexy. Done something with a company that sexy was like the main one. Best, deals, reviews, comparative terms of any kind, like versus, pricing terms, anything like that. Transactional would be buy, free shipping, promo, discount, online. And that'll likely be our best shot at a transactional keyword. Let's see here. Start getting ready for questions. Aw, don't like Raven. Sad. Helpful hint for you e-commerce SEOs. E-commerce requires massive keyword lists to map all variables of keyword intent for each keyword. I'll provide an example. So right here, did this for a client. So they were in Gothic. So what I did is I had my core keywords over here. The women's dresses, standard tops, t-shirts, tank tops, leggings, bustier. I can't pronounce the word. Corsets, panties, hoodies, sweatshirts, all that good stuff. Put this little formula in here. So equals quote, whatever the modifier, keyword modifier I want is, and then space and cell. You'll end up getting Gothic of your core, Gothic of this core, copy paste all the way down. If you know the modifier that you want to be doing, so for instance, I know after doing keyword research that black, cheap, affordable, all these different things. So the sizes, all these different things here, I'm going to be doing that for these keywords. Especially for ecom, this is going to help you build out your pages and your categories. And I just do that down the list, man. With ecom, you're going to have so many keywords, especially for a big store. So many keywords. Luckily for this example, I'm not doing that. So I have the core keywords, and if you're really going to do this, I suggest enterprise level tools, or at least the packages. Otherwise, it takes forever to input the data, export the data, delete all the data, repeat process, lather, rinse, repeat. Okay, so when you finish your keyword analysis report, do some minor keyword data cleaning, then begin to add the intent. So SEO egitim seti, that doesn't belong there. Hoc SEO web, Greek, I don't need that. So getting those out of there. So you have two options to complete this step. You can manually go through the sheet and mark intent. So once this is gone, you're going to be working on this step, keyword intent. So that's the commercial thing I was talking about. Manually go through, or you can use a macro or build a macro. So I'm currently trying to build one. And actually right here, I have a link to Nick's. He has a macro for Excel, and that works well. I normally stick to Google Sheets just because it's easier for cloud-based reviews of everything that's going on, so we can all work together. The only time I use Excel is if I'm doing something that I don't want Google to have data on. And there are things where that comes into play. Not generally for keyword research, though. So you'll end up having a list that looks something like this. Have all of these. Keywords will be on the left side of this. I'm going to color everything red, yellow, green. For, the green is definitely want to get this. There's opportunity. Yellow is, it's kind of competitive. Red is super competitive. And you're going to create little filters for all of these and filter that out. So I'm not going to break down the exact science of how I decide to, when do you put the cutoff for green on CPC? Mine for this one, I think, was 15. It's not necessarily. It also changes, but especially for backlinks, this is the backlink one. If you have a page that is heavy on backlinks already, then your numbers will switch because we're calculating how difficult it'll be for you. If it's a small site, you're going to change your numbers. Let's see. Main idea. So color intent with non-standard green, yellow, red colors, as the color scheme will indicate great, okay, bad normally, and keyword intent doesn't fit into this paradigm. So for instance, that's why you see a different color here. As for everything else, here's the following. Average CPC, red, yellow, green, add the $, number of keyword occurrences, total word count. And let's see, this is one of the things I straight up have taken from Nick's blog post, which is awesome. I think honestly, there's only so much you can do with keyword research, where I think a lot of it, most SEOs or solid SEOs are doing about the same thing. I think the one thing that really changes is the kind of tools people are using and exactly how they're visualizing the data and filtering the data. That part is an invaluable step. So you have all these different things, red, yellow, green, red, yellow, green. The ones that have OJ, dark green, keywords and title, URL contains keyword, headings contain keyword, EMD. Final four metrics aren't as traditional for keyword evaluations, so I color them a little bit differently just to surface that. The last piece of getting your data is to create a priority list. So based on your visual map, you're going to filter between each of your keyword buckets. So commercials, and by that I mean this. Filter between keyword buckets. Okay, I would go here, filter out everything that was just informational, look at that, and create priority lists based on If, green, green, green all the way across the board, that's priority number 1. That's high. That is a high priority keyword. Put that on there. Do that for all of them, and you're going to match that up. I'm gotta believe there's some macro out there that can do that for you. I don't have it. I'm sure someone does. But yeah, so you go through that, filter that all out. Let's see here. So commercials should have high, medium, low. You can just do HTML. I'll look at the top rank. Oh, one of the things I do after I've created this entire set of data is look at the top ranking sites, then determine what kind of page I need to build to rank. Is it a landing page, a flywheel, a blog? If it's a landing page, I'll then use the information to project a budget for my outsourced web dev. So I have web dev team. It's not as easy just to spit out a blog, or as it is just to spit out a blog. It's going to take me money. How long will it take? I make pages all the time, so I know it'll take me about 13 hours to build fully functional page, depending on what's going on it. If it's a blog, I'll know that this will go into a content calendar. If it's a flywheel, I need to talk to product and dev team as a SaaS company, just because the flywheel will generally be, you'll see this with Moz, for instance, the actual site that's ranking will be part of the tool itself. So it's pulling from that tool. So that's going to be product team as well. So if a flywheel is working, they generally have a better stickiness. They have better conversions. So it's good to identify that. And if I really wanted to get into the trenches of keyword research and planning, I also go the extra mile to run correlative analysis reports on the final keyword list, and you'll end up getting something that looks like this. So keywords, blog title, keyword density, H2 keywords, H3 keywords, H4 keywords, word count, due date, publish date, author, any notes, on the fly author, if that one can't do it, that's my own personal preference, cost, and then ebooks associated with that. And that's going to be more of planning out your actual keywords. But I run these correlative reports too that look like, where's this thing? There we go. And this is Cora. I saw Digital Ear in here. He talks about it all the time. But you have your basic tunings, roadmaps, intermediate tunings. You'll just kind of put some of this data in here. I'm not trying to get too fancy with this data for this, because this I just want to give to a content writer. So being able to tell them, 5 keywords in the H2s, 5 in the H3s, 2 in the H4, density percentage, there's free tools that you can do that. That basically just tells them, all right, I need to add a lot more this term. Word count, that tells me exactly how much I need to pay them if it's by word, and tells them how long to write the content. So those are the sort of core things, and then I optimize from there. Let's see here. Where did it go? Oh, I think that might be it, actually. Let's make sure. Da-da-da. 1 second. I think that is. So one of the things, the last thing I'll say about this, I've already been talking, I think, for exactly 40 minutes, is that with the data, okay, this is the actual sheet. The things that are of most importance to me are the purple, so I know which ones to review over here. Right now, what you can do is you can find what it's currently set at just surfacing position 10. What that means for me is that I'm able to identify what is the least amount of work I can do to enter into the SERP. How can I get into the top position? And that's it, through position 10. So if I can beat position 10, I can get up there. And generally, if I'm good enough to get up there, it's just a matter of, on-page optimizing as much as possible, black hatting, whatever you want to do, just to buy backlinks. I'm not talking about that aspect of SEO, but that's all you have to do. Yeah, so that's basically it. I know I've just spit up a ton of stuff, and normally this would be something that's far more expansive. This is my it's a shortened version, believe it or not, of what could happen. And I'll actually be creating a blog post out of this, but yeah, that's basically what I have. Let me see.
Awesome.
Good stuff, buddy. I caught the last half of that, man. It's awesome. You're way more detailed than I am.
Awesome, dude. I'm happy to hear.
So you're upgrading your process now then to include some
extra steps in your Pomodoros.
Yeah, right. No, I want to be consistent with the Pomodoros before I start teaching it to anybody.
Yeah, I'm still.
That's true.
I love. I think working specifically for a company of this size has made me love this process, just because it's so much more helpful.
Yeah.
Especially when you need to make like an entire year calendar. It's just nice. You can give more SEO ROI projections too, based on these sorts of data points as well.
Cool, man. And how are you liking Quora? Have you tested the effectiveness of what you were just saying, where you just 5 keywords in an H2, 3 in an H3, and you're getting really good results from it?
It's better results. You're still not going to get everywhere you need, and that's definitely not like all there is to it. There's trust signals that it's in Quora. There's some funny images, for instance. So one of the things I'll do is a lot of times I'll test out. I still don't know the exact value of this, but there's something where I'll say add 200 images, and that's absurd. So I'll trying to like just hide the fact that you're doing that is really funny. So there's all sorts of ways to do it. I just did one version of it where I did a summary tag and hid some keywords and some images. I think just using simple tags like that, or using like an image gallery or something. But it's hard to really know, I think, because a lot of times what I'm doing is I'm not doing single variable improvements. I'm doing multiple improvements at once. So I don't. Yes, I'm always improving when I implement these things, but I don't know what the real mover is of these.
I was generally just using a TF-IDF tool on top of my just standard best practices for optimizing on-site. But I've just recently moved over to Website Auditor. I don't know if you've used that before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to jump into Quora just yet, because it's, like you said, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I want to be incremental in the tools that I'm adding to my stack. So I'm not adding, just jumping to the end. If I can just use Website Auditor and still rank in the top 5, But
Right.
if that doesn't work, then it's on to Quora or Pop or Surfer.
Yeah, I think the real value of Quora is not just in its just purely on page for your own money site. It's basically its ability to. It allows you to, I think,
analyze the whole site as a whole.
Well, yeah, I think it's I like it for if you're going to create your own backlinks. It's really handy. I'm not going to dig into how to effectively do that, but it's really good. That's the main value. And there's like 7 tools in one. So I mean, it's not just the on page. It's like understanding. Basically, with Quora, you're able to understand what the update has done. Whatever Google's update is, you're able to track it pretty quickly. So within a month, you'll know. You don't need to wait on Search Engine Journal or Rusty Brick to tell you on Twitter.
Now, is the training included in part of their knowledge base, or is there you've got to hit up YouTube for that, or is it just pure testing on your own?
They have it on their I wish they had more resources. Ted's basically invested entirely in the power of the tool instead of the marketing of the tool.
Right.
So he's eventually going to get into that, but he's got 7 videos on his homepage, and then I think affiliates that exist. The Josh, was it Josh, Clint, Kyle? I can't pronounce Josh's last name, but there's plenty of people out there that have videos out there. I think Chase Reiner has a video out there of it too.
Oh geez.
Yeah, I know.
Chase.
Oh yeah, we won't get into him since it's a charity event.
Yeah, let's be nice.
We got a couple of questions. JYH says, any methods for calculating the commercial opportunity for tranches of keywords in brackets sub-niche? I assume assembling a cross-section of informational and transactional is the start, but how would you assess the opportunity?
So opportunity for calculating commercial opportunity. So by opportunity, do you mean my ability to actually rank for it, or do you mean an opportunity?
I think he means, how do you identify buying intent or commercial intent?
Commercial intent's generally, it's easier with a non-SaaS platform. Where's my thingamabob? My actual presentation. Okay, I have it up here. I went through it on here. Okay, so I wrote it out, but commercial keywords, they have things like the words cheap, colors, sizes, women's, men's, children's, sexy, best, deals, reviews, comparative terms. So SEM Rush versus Raven Tools. That's commercial. They're shopping for something. Pricing terms. Best, the best SEO tool. That's a commercial term. You're not looking up best SEO tool just because you want information on SEO, pure information detached from a purchase. Cheap. It's also commercial. Whenever there's like finances involved, that's a commercial keyword. But since you're looking at cheap, you're also not looking at a transactional keyword, because cheap is still comparative. You're trying to find a list of cheaps that you're then going to evaluate. Those sorts of things. So there's lists out there of these commercial keywords, but that's generally how you're going to do it. And you can create part of the where's that? I forgot. I don't have my sheet up. But Nick Eubanks, he has a pre-filled Excel macro that already has the keywords in there. The macro works by identifying the intent of those keywords and then filtering it out automatically. So you can also just use that.
The best way I describe commercial keywords are keywords that people use when they're ready to buy something, but they don't know which option they're going to choose yet. So if it's Quora or Surfer SEO, they might type in best on-site optimization analysis platform or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And they're still making a decision on which option they're going to buy, but you know that they're ready to buy, and they probably have the money, and they're just looking to make that last decision before they press the buy button.
Right.
Trevor's asking keyword density question. I've gone over without too much worry and have stuffed H1 to H6 and get ranked. Tools keep warning me. Should I be worried?
Maybe. I don't know. If you're ranking, man, I'd say anytime if you are outstuffing your competitors by a lot, you should at least be keeping tabs on that. But generally, you can stick within a standard deviation of what your competitors are doing, and you'll be fine. And there's not a standard keyword density percentage. It varies based on the keyword. And sometimes Google's algorithm is good with that. Sometimes it sucks. You could still get away with crazy stuff. I know, was it SEO Fight Club? They just proved that you could get rewarded for something like up to 50% keyword density, which ceases to be English, like Ted says. But that's literally just saying, so if it was plumber, it would just be like plumber talking, plumber sitting, plumber. That's stupid. But
so you'll like this. So you like Term Explorer, right?
Yes.
So he owns KeywordShitter.com also, and he's trying to get KeywordShitter.com.
Shitter?
KeywordShitter.com.
That's a good one.
That's a good name. Yeah.
He's trying to get that to rank for Keyword Tool.
Can you guess what it does, everyone?
Dude, he
shits out keywords.
Last night, so if you scroll down to the end of the end of the homepage, he's just updating it as he goes, telling you what he's doing to rank for the keyword tool. And last night he had about 1,000 instances of the word keyword tool. He was keyword stuffing basically just to see if it would work in 2019. So obviously it did not, but this is still a pretty funny experiment when it comes to keyword density.
Simon D says that he loves mentioning keyword shitter to new employees.
That's amazing. I love it.
I think all SEO tools should have a swear word in, just to make them fun to get enterprise budget for. I need 87 a month for
the shitter page.
Link fucker, 12 for keyword shitter.
Oh my gosh. I would get fired so quick if I did that. I need to orphan that page so no one could find it.
He's been sitting in like spot like between 70 and 80 for like 3 weeks now. So I think his test has hit a wall, so to speak.
Is he doing Blacklink
Black Hat?
Sorry,
No, no.
Black Hat backlinks.
He's not. He's just.
Oh, he should totally try that, man.
He's just trying to manipulate different signals to see if he can just jump to the top. Just by constantly updating the page, slamming it with keywords, all different stuff. He's got a case study going on Build Your Society if you want to follow it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I shipped 2,000 keywords and pasted them at the bottom of the page.
I'm going to find the thread.
Well, that used to be what people did. The old hidden block at the bottom, just for the keyword.
I have a hypothesis that Google's gotten a little bit better. You can't do that. Just if you wanted to still like bust Google's balls, do a Spintax editor and then just do it that way. Add a ton of keywords. But I'd be curious. My experience is I've done a little bit of testing, and there's a certain keyword difficulty amount value where I cannot on-page my way to page 1. So I'm sure he could actually do this if he chose a keyword that was a little bit less difficult.
Yeah, I'd say so. That's a pretty damn difficult keyword to go after. But you know what? Nick did it with his Medium.com article. So I think Nick is like 9 or 10 for keyword tool. So I think Dan wanted to match him with his keyword shitter page.
That's so awesome. I'm gonna have to show that to my partner in crime at Raven Tools.
Put it on the intranet with just the title "Shitter Making Moves in SEO" for everyone to read on your corporate intranet.
Oh yes. I'll give him a backlink. It's fine.
Call an emergency meeting.
I'm down.
Meeting title: Shitter.
Shitter.
Must be discussed immediately.
That's awesome.
I think we've got a couple more questions. Trevor's asking if anyone's tried Cognitive, and JYH is asking if there's any easy, repeatable ways to quickly assess a mix of viable long tail versus top keywords within a niche tranche.
Yeah, you can, based on how you filter the list, you'll find your long tails pretty easily. Long tails aren't just, there's a debate on this, but my understanding is that long tails it's about the search curve. So it's about the volume of searches. I keep mixing it up. It's either about the volume of searches or the amount of words. Generally, they correlate, but not always. So in the actual sheet that I just showed, what you'll do is you can filter it based on the volume. Filter it on lower volume, so only show things from 10 to 50, and that's generally going to be your long tail. It generally correlates, depends on the industry, and you can filter it from there. I can't remember the full question other than let's see, easy way to access the viable. Oh yes, and once you actually see that and filter it based on volume, you're going to look at that visual list that you create, and you'll see just based on colors. If it's green across the board or green and yellow, that's viable right there. One of the other things is if you're looking for a long tail, you don't have to just approach it through SEO. You can approach it through PPC. So you'll find viable ones where the bidding is real low and you've already prioritized it as like you've looked at all these. By the end, you already have your priority list. So if you have a high priority keyword with low bid volume, use that. Just do PPC on that, or do both. But you might as well just do PPC. If it's only like 20 cents and you've identified it as high priority and you've done your research right, then that's easy. You're just losing money. You're throwing money down the drain.
That makes sense.
All right, I think we got to wrap up here because we're